King Charles is out of control. 18 times he secretly fired royal staff. Ever wonder what it takes to work in the British royal palace? Imagine working for one of the world's most powerful families, only to be dismissed in silence. For years, King Charles has been quietly letting go of royal staff, and each dismissal tells a story. From nannies and private secretaries to royal chefs and long-trusted advisors. People who spent decades serving the crown were suddenly out of the picture. But why? Was it loyalty, a breach of trust, or simply making room for a new era? Today we're counting down the untold reasons behind these secret firings, the details the palace never releases. Join us as we count down these surprising dismissals and find out what it really takes to stay in the royal inner circle. So if you think you know King Charles, think again. Let's uncover the secrets one shocking dismissal at a time. Number 1. Firing longtime personal aide Michael Fawcett, 2003. Michael Fawcett was one of King Charles' most trusted aides. Fawcett started as a valet, a personal assistant who handled King Charles' clothing and daily routines. Over the years, he became known as King Charles' fixer, someone who handled difficult situations and took care of the king's needs. However, Fawcett's behavior began to raise concerns. In 2003, complaints surfaced from other staff members who claimed Fawcett was a bully. Some said he pushed others around, demanded too much, and made life hard for junior staff. This created a scandal in the media, and people started to question why King Charles was keeping him on staff. To calm the situation, King Charles finally asked Fawcett to resign. Surprisingly, King Charles allowed him to return a few years later, which raised many eyebrows. People wondered why King Charles would give Fawcett a second chance. It showed that King Charles valued loyalty deeply, and he saw Fawcett as someone who would always be there for him, despite the controversy surrounding him. Number 2. Dismissing a private secretary over a security breach. Working close to the royal family comes with great responsibility, especially in terms of security. One of King Charles' private secretaries, essentially his top advisor and organizer, was dismissed following a serious security breach. A security breach is when something goes wrong that could put someone in danger or allow private information to leak out. At Clarence House, where King Charles lived in London, there was a lapse in security that was considered very serious. Although the details of this incident weren't shared publicly, King Charles' decision to let the private secretary go sent a clear message. It showed that even high-ranking, trusted staff were not immune to the rules if they failed to protect the safety and privacy of the royal family. By dismissing his private secretary, King Charles made it known that he expected complete loyalty and professionalism from those close to him. This action likely served as a strong reminder to the rest of the palace staff to prioritize security above all else. Number 3. The Rogue Butler Scandal. The role of a butler in a royal household is extremely important. A butler is not only responsible for managing household duties, but also has close access to personal and private matters of the family. One former butler, however, broke this trust by allegedly sharing private information about King Charles and his family with the media. This betrayal was labeled in the press as the Rogue Butler Scandal. This butler had spent years serving the family, and his position allowed him to learn many personal details. But instead of staying loyal, he chose to leak some of this information to the public, causing a scandal. King Charles was deeply upset but decided to handle the situation privately. Rather than create a bigger media story, he quietly dismissed the butler. This decision shows how strongly King Charles values loyalty and privacy, especially from those who work closest to him. It also highlights how betrayal within his inner circle is something he finds particularly painful and unforgivable. Number 4. Dismissing a charity manager for mismanagement. King Charles has been deeply involved in charity work for decades, especially through the Prince's Trust, a charity he founded to support young people. Managing these charities is no small task, and it requires strong leadership and integrity. At one point, a senior charity manager was dismissed following concerns over mismanagement of funds and resources. Although the full details of the situation weren't publicly disclosed, It's believed that the manager failed to uphold the standards of transparency and accountability Charles expects in his organizations. For Charles, his charities are a direct extension of his values, so any sign of mismanagement is taken seriously. By letting this manager go, Charles demonstrated his commitment to ethical standards in charity work and made it clear that he would take action if anyone in his team compromised the integrity of his mission to help others. This decision underlined how important it is to him that his charities maintain a strong reputation and stay true to their purposes. Number 5. Axing his own communication chief. Public relations and managing the royal image are critical roles within the royal household. King Charles once fired his communications chief after a disagreement over how to present Camilla, now queen consort, to the public. The communication chief's job is to ensure that everything the public sees about the royal family is positive and polished. However, King Charles felt that this particular chief didn't share his vision for introducing Camilla to the public. King Charles had been working to slowly shape Camilla's image in a positive light, especially as the public initially had mixed feelings about her. When the communications chief didn't align with King Charles' ideas, he decided to let him go. This firing had a big impact on how the palace managed media relations from then on, making it clear that King Charles expected his team to fully support his personal goals. This decision highlighted King Charles' willingness to make changes if it meant protecting his and Camilla's reputation. Number 6. The dismissal of a valet for insubordination. Valets have an incredibly personal job. They help with everything from picking out clothes to preparing daily schedules. King Charles' routines are reportedly very particular, and he likes things done in a specific way. One longtime valet was let go for what was called insubordination, which in this case meant not following King Charles' precise instructions. This valet had worked for King Charles for a long time, and his dismissal surprised many people. But King Charles' demand for precision is so high that even small slip-ups or differences in how tasks are done can lead to consequences. It seems that for King Charles, discipline and respect for his methods are crucial. Dismissing a valet for not meeting these standards shows how serious King Charles is about his routines. Even though insubordination may sound harsh, in the royal household it could simply mean not delivering the level of perfection that King Charles expects from his closest staff. Number 7. The case of the missing jewelry. Royal jewelry holds immense value, not only in terms of money, but also in history and symbolism. So when there was an incident involving missing royal jewelry, it caused a quiet yet significant stir within the palace. A member of King Charles' staff was quietly dismissed after this incident. Although details about the missing pieces were never confirmed, the dismissal was a clear sign that someone had been held accountable. King Charles acted privately to prevent a public scandal. If news had broken out about missing royal jewels, it could have embarrassed the entire royal family. This firing highlights the importance of trust in the royal household and how serious the consequences can be if that trust is broken. King Charles' decision to handle the matter quietly also shows his dedication to protecting the royal family's image and privacy, especially when it comes to sensitive matters involving valuable items. Number 8. Quietly letting go of a housekeeper. Working in the royal household means being a part of a close-knit team, but it doesn't mean everyone gets along perfectly. In one case, a senior housekeeper at one of King Charles' estates was dismissed due to ongoing conflicts with other staff members. Managing a royal estate involves a lot of cooperation and teamwork, and disagreements between staff can disrupt the entire household. Although this dismissal wasn't made public, people within the palace likely knew about the tension. By quietly letting go of the housekeeper, King Charles showed that he valued harmony in his team. Even if the housekeeper was experienced, King Charles wouldn't allow personal conflicts to affect the daily operations of his household. This dismissal is a reminder that working for the royal family involves not only skills, but also the ability to get along with others, as King Charles prioritizes a peaceful work environment. Number 9. Firing a landscaper over his gardens. Gardening is one of King Charles' passions, especially at his home, Highgrove House. He's poured time, effort, and personal care into making these gardens a reflection of his environmental beliefs and aesthetics. Therefore, he expects the landscapers working there to understand and share his vision. When one landscaper didn't meet his exacting standards, King Charles decided to let him go. The landscaper's firing showed just how serious King Charles takes his gardening projects. King Charles sees these gardens as an extension of himself and believes every detail matters, from the types of plants chosen to how they're arranged and maintained. Even small mistakes or misunderstandings about his vision can lead to a dismissal. This shows that King Charles' expectations are high, especially for projects close to his heart, and he isn't afraid to make changes if something doesn't align with his personal standards for excellence. Number 10. The secret dismissal of a chauffeur. Royal chauffeurs don't just drive. They're also responsible for protecting the family's privacy, as they're present for many personal moments. In one case, a chauffeur was quietly dismissed after breaking a confidentiality agreement. Although the specifics of the breach weren't made public, it's clear that the incident involved a loss of trust. For King Charles, this was a serious matter. Keeping private family information secure is a top priority. By letting the chauffeur go without making it public, King Charles aimed to prevent further rumors and maintain the palace's reputation. This story highlights how important loyalty is to King Charles, and how even minor breaches of trust are taken seriously in the royal household. It shows that those closest to the royals must respect boundaries and privacy at all times, or they risk losing their position. Number 11. Dropping a PR advisor after a public misstep. When it comes to royal tours, every detail matters. Public relations advisors work hard to ensure that King Charles' image is protected, especially when he's representing the royal family in other countries. However, on one tour, a series of missteps and miscommunications led to a public embarrassment for King Charles. Following the tour, King Charles decided to part ways with his PR advisor. While details of the specific incidents weren't made public, it's likely that the PR advisor failed to prevent or handle a situation that caused negative attention. King Charles is known for expecting professionalism from his team, especially when it comes to public events. This firing was a reminder of how high the stakes are when managing the public image of a royal figure. Any mistake, even a small one, can have lasting effects on how the public views the royal family. For King Charles, it's essential to have a team that understands this responsibility and can deliver without errors. Number 12. Firing a butler for leaking personal details. The royal family values privacy immensely, and anyone caught sharing personal information faces immediate consequences. One butler learned this the hard way after rumors emerged that he had leaked private details about King Charles' relationship with Camilla. King Charles has always been private about his personal life, and he expects his staff to respect this. While the full details weren't disclosed, the butler was dismissed quietly to prevent further leaks or scandals. King Charles' reaction shows just how serious he takes breaches of trust, especially when it comes to personal matters. The royal family relies heavily on the loyalty of those who work closely with them, as these individuals are privy to private conversations, routines, and other sensitive information. By dismissing the butler, King Charles reinforced the importance of discretion within the palace and reminded other staff that loyalty and confidentiality are non-negotiable. Number 13. Letting go of a chef after a food incident. Food is a deeply personal matter for King Charles, who's known for his passion for organic and sustainable eating. He has specific preferences and high standards, particularly when it comes to ingredients and preparation methods. In one case, a chef was let go after serving food that didn't meet these exacting standards. Although this may sound minor, for King Charles, it's about respect for his values and lifestyle. This incident could have involved something as simple as using a non-organic ingredient or failing to prepare a dish the way he likes. While this might seem strict, King Charles views food as part of his commitment to environmental causes, so he expects those around him to take it seriously. The chef's dismissal highlights how even small details are important in the royal household, especially for someone like King Charles, who's built his public image around his love for sustainable living. Number 14. The sudden dismissal of a groundskeeper. At his Highgrove estate, King Charles has created gardens that are renowned for their beauty and ecological value. These gardens reflect his personal vision and are carefully maintained to align with his environmental beliefs. However, one groundskeeper was suddenly dismissed after an incident involving the estate's prized gardens. While the exact nature of the incident wasn't revealed, it's likely that the groundskeeper made an error that didn't meet King Charles' high standards. King Charles sees his gardens as an extension of himself, and he has a clear vision of how they should look and be cared for. The dismissal of the groundskeeper shows just how seriously King Charles takes his gardening projects. For him, maintaining these gardens is not only about beauty, but also about promoting his values for sustainability and respect for nature. Any misstep, even a small one, can result in dismissal, as King Charles expects perfection from those who work on something so close to his heart. Number 15. Replacing his travel coordinator. Organizing travel for a royal family member is no easy task. Every detail needs to be meticulously planned, from transportation to accommodations to security. One of King Charles' travel coordinators was let go after several issues occurred during an international trip. While the specific problems weren't publicly shared, they were serious enough for King Charles to seek a replacement. It's possible that there were delays, logistical mistakes, or security lapses that made the trip more stressful or less organized than expected. For King Charles, who often travels for official royal duties, it's essential that everything goes smoothly. This firing highlights the high expectations placed on staff who organize royal events and trips. King Charles expects flawless execution, especially when traveling abroad, as any mistakes can reflect poorly on the royal family. By replacing the travel coordinator, King Charles made it clear that he values professionalism and competence, especially in such a high-stakes role. Number 16. The abrupt departure of a personal secretary. The role of a personal secretary is crucial in managing King Charles' public duties and daily schedules. One of his personal secretaries was abruptly dismissed after disagreements about how King Charles' public image should be handled. Being a high-ranking staff member, a personal secretary typically has influence over how King Charles is presented to the public, coordinating his engagements and public statements. However, this secretary reportedly clashed with King Charles on important matters, leading to their departure. King Charles values loyalty and alignment with his vision, especially regarding his public image, which he carefully manages. Any difference of opinion on this matter could disrupt his plans, so he made the decision to part ways with the secretary. This firing shows how critical it is for King Charles to have a team that fully supports his goals. Public image is something he takes very seriously, and he needs staff who understand and respect his wishes in this area. Number 17. The case of the disloyal house manager. A senior house manager holds a position of significant responsibility, overseeing the daily operations of the royal household. This house manager, however, was suspected of leaking sensitive information to the press. The leak wasn't just about private details. It was potentially damaging to palace security and the royal family's reputation. Although the details were handled quietly, King Charles dismissed the house manager swiftly. For King Charles, loyalty is essential, especially from those in senior roles who are entrusted with so much access to his personal and professional life. The dismissal sent a clear message to other staff that leaks and breaches of confidentiality would not be tolerated. King Charles relies on the discretion of his team, and when that trust is broken, he acts quickly to maintain the integrity and security of his household. This incident underscores the importance of loyalty and the lengths King Charles will go to ensure that his family's privacy is protected. Number 18. The firing of Michael Fawcett again. Michael Fawcett's return to King Charles' staff was met with mixed reactions. However, Fawcett's second chance didn't last forever. In 2021, he faced accusations of being involved in a cash for honors scandal, where he allegedly helped secure honors for wealthy donors to royal charities. This was a serious allegation that could harm the reputation of the royal family and King Charles' charity work. Despite their close relationship and Fawcett's years of loyal service, King Charles had to let him go again. This was a major decision, as Fawcett had been King Charles' trusted aide for many years. Letting him go a second time showed that King Charles recognized the importance of upholding ethical standards. even if it meant parting with someone who had been incredibly loyal. This final dismissal marked the end of Fawcett's long-standing role within the royal household and demonstrated King Charles' commitment to maintaining the integrity of his charities and public duties. From loyalty and trust to professionalism and respect for his personal standards, these dismissals show the demands of working in a royal household. What do you think about these decisions? Were they fair, or do they seem too strict? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the behind-the-scene videos about the royal family, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!